that ball rolling. When we say action packed, we don't exaggerate. Sliding straight to our guy, Dean Thomas, one of the best pound for pound trainers in the game, and one of the trainers first, and still bantamweight champion of the world, Amanda Nunes. Congrats on y'all team on that great game plan y'all put together that got executed to a T last night.
Well, I appreciate that, man. I mean, really that's Amanda. You know what I'm saying? Like she's a hell of an athlete and a fantastic fighter, and I think at that weight class right now she's unbeatable.
I had a conversation with Matt because we don't like talking because we don't want to give away our show, our conversation. But does it bother y'all the fact that people don't realize if she gets a fight with Cyborg and was able to pull that off, she would be the GOAT? Like right now, she's in that territory, and people don't even realize that because she would have beat Ronda, Misha, and Cyborg. Nobody else has even fought them all three. That's not beat them all three.
Yeah, a lot of that just comes down to like popularity. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think if she was more popular and had a little more push and a little bit more market, had been marketed a little bit differently and packaged a little bit differently, I think that she would be in the GOAT category right now when it comes to women's MMA. But I think a lot of that has to do with, just people don't really vibe with Amanda like that. You know what I'm saying? So, like, they're going to make her jump through a lot of different hoops and jump over some hurdles before they can even consider her to GOAT.
Yeah, one of the weird things, like, as the fight was playing out, she's out there dominating Raquel. And people are tweeting, like, I mean, obviously, hashtag MMA fans going to be hashtag MMA fans. But they're saying, like, never again will I, like, carry the flag for Amanda and all this stuff. I'm like, she's dominating her opponent, like, everywhere the fight goes. Like, yeah, she got taken down one time, but other than that, like, she wasn't struggling at all. She was dominating the fight from what I saw. And somehow people aren't still getting behind her. I don't understand this.
Yeah, well, here's the thing, man. Like, people are so, I don't know, MMA is a weird thing. I mean, when you talk about MMA fans, it's so weird because there's so many different fans on different sides of the spectrum, and they always come out when it's ever convenient for them. So, like, when it comes to Amanda, I mean, honestly, Amanda was in sparring mode last night. I mean, she has so much respect for Raquel. She was pretty much in sparring mode, and that's the way I saw it. I'm watching the fight, and I'm thinking, she in sparring mode. She in cruise control, and she's not really trying to take Raquel out. But I thought she looked magnificent doing it. I mean, she was masterful in doing that, and people can't appreciate that. And that's what I'm saying is that people can't appreciate that. Even though she was in sparring mode, people still can't appreciate how easily she was able to pick apart Raquel.
Yeah, it's wild, man. Because she was doing such a good job. Like, even overcoming, like, when Raquel had moments, she was quick to counter off of that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, Raquel had her moments, but again, like I said, Amanda was in spar mode. It looked like the way Amanda spars when we working with Amanda and she's sparring and she's just beating up her sparring partners. That's exactly how it looked like. She was just beating them up and not really trying to take them out. And that's pretty much what she did with Raquel until that last round. She had to take her out, but I felt like she put on a masterful performance. She looked good doing it. She, I think, anything you could ask for in a champion, just cruise control, smooth sailing, and she looked like a true champion last night. And MMA fans can't appreciate that, and that's what sucks about it because we try so hard to legitimize this as a sport, and all it seems to want is at times just a brawl, a back and forth brawl, and that's not what it is, man. Like, as a fighter, you don't really want those. You want to be able to win decisively and easily, and that's what Amanda's doing.
For sure.
Tell me this, Dean. On a technical note, as great as she was, do y'all think y'all need to work on her cutting off the cage? Because as the way Raquel was walking back on that cage, she could have got that fight over real quick if she wanted to, but she never did cut off the cage. Like, if y'all get that Cyborg challenge, she's going to have to do that.
No, you know what? I think a lot of that has to do with, fighters are always going through their own personal demons. And I feel like this is that for so long, Amanda, when she was coming up, people always talk about her, not being able to go 3 rounds. And now as a champion, she has to go 5 rounds. And I think her fighting Valentina, she wanted to prove that she could go 5 rounds. So I think when she trains, she's always like trying to do extra rounds just to prove that she can do that. And I feel as though that there's a moment where, like, she's now fighting at a pace where she wants to kind of go those rounds. She just wants that work. And I feel like, yeah, of course, she could have just cut the cage off. And I feel like she could have cut the cage off and and put Raquel away earlier. But I feel as though she's in this pace and in this mindset where she's like, you know what? I can go 5 rounds, so I don't have a problem chasing her around the cage.
Yeah, that's a very, very, very good point right there, and I mean that makes a lot of sense because I think it was the very first exchange where she hurt her leg, yeah.
Oh my goodness! The first kick put Raquel down.
Yeah.
The first kick put her down.
That's
yeah.
wild.
I mean, I believe she could have put Raquel away about the 3rd round had she kind of wanted to, had her mentality been like if she was mad at Raquel, like if Raquel said something to really make her mad, I feel like she would have put her away in the 3rd round. But I think she has so much respect, and again, she's in cruise control, and she wasn't threatened at all. And at one point, I think it was in the 2nd round when Raquel took her down and she got up and she was on fire. Like at the end of that 2nd round when she got up and started throwing some heat, had she did that a little bit earlier with a little bit more control, I think she would have put Raquel away early.
Do you think that Amanda is, with each fight, is getting knowing that, hey, I'm better than these people, so now I'm going to try working on stuff so when I lose some of these skills, I still can, kind of how Cyborg's doing. Like, she's not as physical as she was, but her technical game is getting big. Is y'all doing that with Amanda? Because it seems like she gets a little bit more technical each fight.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying is that, and I don't think it's from a technical standpoint. I think it's from a mindset standpoint where her mentality is changing and evolving with each fight. Because there was a time when she was so worried about going the distance that she had to get it over early. And then when she couldn't get it over early, she gassed out. And I think that's how she lost to Kat Zingano. And she's always been concerned with her conditioning. So she'd always try to get it over early. But I think now it's to the point where she's so comfortable going so long that she's in no hurry. There's no real sense of urgency for her to really start picking up the pace. But I think if she fights Cyborg, there is going to be some sense of urgency because I don't think she really wants to keep that type of pace against Cyborg.
Dean, one thing I have a question for you about. After the fight, Amanda had to be carried to the post-fight press conference, and she had a foot injury she said she was dealing with from the previous fight. Was that something that you guys had to focus on in the camp leading up, or was it how was that affecting her since then?
Well, yeah, I mean, now that the fight's over, I can kind of put that shed some light on that. She's always had a foot injury. Well, she's kind of had this nagging foot injury. I think she might have kicked somebody's elbow, a couple fights ago, and it just never fully healed because she's always kind of been in camp, and and then she'll re-irritate it and so on and so forth. So yeah, she's kind of had this foot injury. I think now might be a time where she might want to get it taken care of and just maybe take a little bit more time off so that can heal. But yeah, it came from when you're a kicker like that and you do body kicks, you're going to kick an elbow every once in a while, and sometimes it's really damaging.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and I guess we got to get into the main debate going on Twitter. You've been chiming in all day long, it seems.
Yeah, I have.
Obviously, we know what happens in between the 4th and the 5th round. Raquel Pennington turns to her corner, says, "I want to be done, please." Being a trainer, being a fighter, like you said, you tweeted out, you've been on literally every aspect of the fight game since, 95 or whatever it was, I think you said. But I got to get your take, man, because it's one of those things that's really polarizing. And I don't see how anyone can be so hardline either way. But what's your initial thoughts, man?
Well, first, let me say this. As a trainer, and I've always said this, and you might have heard me say this before, my number one job is to make sure that my fighter gets home safely. That is my absolute number one job, is to train my fighter and get them home safely. Number 2 is to finish fights. Number 3 is to go out there and perform. Now, when it comes to Raquel, I do not believe she was and everyone's like, oh, she said she wanted out. What happens with fighters is they get emotional sometimes at these weird times. And at that point, because Raquel wasn't able to establish her game, at that point, I think that she had what Roddy Ferguson once referred to as a chump moment, where she lost all her confidence. Yeah, she had a chump moment, and she lost her confidence because she wasn't hurt to the point where she couldn't finish that fight. I mean, tell me which round you saw where she got battered within them first 4 rounds to where you felt like this fight should have been stopped. There was no point in that fight where you said, oh, this is getting bad. This fight should be stopped. In fact, Josh Gross gave the second round to Raquel Pennington. Mm-hmm. So she wasn't physically hurt to where it was justifiable to say, all right, we need to take you out of this fight, because I'm all for that. If she was physically hurt, I'd say, hey, if she said she wanted out, I'd say take her out. But I feel as though she had a chump moment where she was frustrated, she was discouraged, and she was like, just get me out of it. And somewhat even could have been somewhat embarrassed and just didn't want to continue to fight. And I feel like her corner did the right thing by saying, listen, you don't let this happen. You don't want this, because you're going to wake up tomorrow morning and regret this. I did that in a fight, honestly, where I fought Amar Sulia back in Japan, and I tapped early. And to this day, it still haunts me, the fact that I did not give it my all. And as a fighter, I know how that feels sometimes when you're in the middle of a fight where you might not be winning, but you're discouraged and you're embarrassed and you're frustrated, and you go, you know what, I don't want to fight no more. But I feel as though her corner did the right thing, knowing her. And even me, like, I studied Raquel. I studied Raquel for a week, just watching footage of Raquel, knowing how tough she is. And she's a competitor. Raquel would not have been able to look at herself in the mirror today knowing that she gave up in that, on the stool. And I think they did the right thing by encouraging her to go back out. Now, if she said, no, I still don't want to go, no, you guys can't talk me into it, then pull her. But she said, no, I'm done. And I think they did the right thing by saying, hey, listen, Raquel, you're better than this. You're not really hurt. You're just having one of the moments where a chump moment, and you need to go out there and fight.
we got a new phrase going on this Living Dead podcast. The chump moment.
I tend to agree with you. I tend to agree with you, man, because of the fact that when you look at how she said that, the fact that she said, I want to be done, please. Like, that part, the please part was like she was trying to have a dialogue about it. She wasn't trying to put her foot down and say, I can't fight anymore, I'm out. She was looking for someone to convince her to go on. In my opinion, that's the way I saw that.
Yeah, again, if it's about fighter safety, absolutely. Now, what happened when she went back out there was she never was able to regain her confidence. They didn't. Here's the thing: is like when you have a minute and you really kind of have 30 seconds to talk to your fighter. You have 30 seconds, and you're trying to get a lot of information out to them. They didn't really have enough time to really get her to regain her confidence. Now, had they did that, I think she would have put up a better fight. Had they been able to go, listen, Raquel, you can do this. We worked hard for this. You can do this. Get out there, bite down, and fight your heart out. Take her down, bite, and fight your heart out. She would have went out there and put up a performance. But I don't think she had the confidence going back out, because in her mind she had given up, and they weren't able to get it back for her. And that's still going to eat at her. I promise you, that's going to eat at her, because she knows that she's better than that. And I know she's better than that. And I think everybody knows she's better than that. It's just, it was one of them times where she wanted to get out of it. And in her corner, and to this day, I believe her corner did the right thing by trying to talk her back into it.
I got two questions. One, do you think the ring rust made a big deal with Raquel's performance? She basically had fought almost 2 years.
No, not really. I think I really do. I don't think so. It definitely is a tough fight to be fighting Amanda Nunes after a 2-year layoff.
Right.
Here's the thing, though. Studying Raquel. Here's what it is. Studying Raquel. One thing I know about Raquel is Raquel fights going forward, and the fact that she went 4 rounds stuck on a fence couldn't amount much offense. Again, she didn't take a tremendous amount of punishment. She just couldn't fight her fight, and that is what really killed her, because Amanda would not let her off the fence and let her get off. And I think that is what really killed her. I don't think it was the layoff. I think it was just the fact that Raquel could never get into a groove and get into her rhythm. And that's what frustrated her and discouraged her from even wanting to fight.
Yeah. And my second question is, like, we had Steve Warman Wright. Y'all know you're familiar with his work. And he said the same thing you said, similar about the corners. Why don't more people throw the towel? I know you watch boxing. They don't throw the towel in and live to see another day. And, like, people are making a big deal about this. How can they make a big deal when these trainers don't have no damn adjustments, and they fighter just get whooped the full 15 or full 25 and it's never in it, and they never did do anything different? To me, that's just as bad as you not saving your fighter.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. Like, here's the thing: is that we had the opportunity to get a glimpse of hearing a fighter say, "I want out," but there's often times where you can look in a fighter's face and see that they won out. I've seen it plenty of times. And you could see it in their face that I went out. They won't verbalize it the way Rocky did, but you could see it in their face. And the communication is just as strong as them verbalizing it. But it's the corner's job to go to remotivate them, to get them to go back out there and possibly do something different to give them a different outcome. And that's the key, is maybe do something different to get another outcome. But it's hard though. Like I said, in the corner you get like 30 seconds and there's so much going on and it's so fast, and that 30 seconds feels like 5 seconds, and you're trying to put information into your fighter. It's a difficult thing sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a tough spot, man, because it's like, to play devil's advocate, surely you can see both sides of the whole deal, right? When Raquel's like, I don't want to be out there. People have been throwing out examples of other examples. I think like one was Trevor Whitman immediately, like not even thinking about it, with the Nate Marquardt thing, when he said he was done, just immediately like, all right, we're done. I guess for those out there that are playing the other side of the fence, besides just the regret of having to deal with your fighter, like not wanting to, have that memory in their mind, like what other kind of thing can you point to as a trainer to say like, yeah, this is my responsibility to step in and say you're done here?
Well, again, I think it comes down to the real physical aspect of it. Now, the whole thing on Nate Marquardt and Trevor Whitman, it also depends on the fighter too. Nate, they might know, you have to have a relationship with your fighter and have to have chemistry with them to know that fighter. Like I spend, a tremendous amount of time with any fighter that I work with, and I know when they're done. You know what I'm saying? Like I've been with them through training, I've been with them through sparring, and watching them do, get beat up in sparring, and sometimes they come to me in sparring and go, man, I got no more left. And I go, all right, you look like you got nothing left. And I say, and sometimes they got something left, and I go, hey man, you got something left, and they go out and give me more. So it's about having that relationship. Now, when it comes to Nate Marquardt, clearly Trevor Whitman knew best and said, hey, you're done. You got nothing left. I see it in your eyes. But again, you got to have that chemistry and that type of relationship with your fighter. So everybody's a little different. And that's why I think, based on what I saw last night, I think that they made the right call. Had it been a different fighter, it might have been the wrong call. But based on what I know of Raquel and what I saw last night, I thought it was the right call.
Absolutely. Like I said, man, it's a tough spot, man, because I immediately in the moment I was kind of angry at her corner.
I had to calm him down. I had to calm him down.
At the end of the moment, I was a little bit angry, and then I went back and listened, and then the fact that I heard Raquel say please, and I kind of thought a little bit more. I was like, well, they know each other a lot better than we do on the outside looking in. Maybe she is that person that needs to hear that. Maybe maybe she's the one that needs to hear. I still have more in me, because we just talked to
listen. No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say we just had Wonder Boy on. And Wonder Boy was talking about how, his dad is his trainer, and his dad trained a guy that needed to hear that in training, like, all the time. And he said his dad slapped the guy so hard in a fight one time when he wanted to quit. The guy went out there and won the fight. I guess the result is the main thing that people are going to point to regardless, right?
Yeah, but it's easy to play the result. You know what I'm saying? And I almost feel like that result was kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy. The fact that she was she never fully regained her confidence going into that fifth round. So yes, she got beat up because she never regained her confidence. But prior to that, she wasn't fully getting destroyed. I mean, had there been some 10-7 rounds and some 10-8 rounds, I would have been like, please get this girl out of here. But they were 10-9 rounds. She was getting beat. But it wasn't to the point where I don't think she could have fought. But again, I think it all comes down to the individual chemistry. I mean, it really does. Some people.
Whoa, Dean, we lost you.
All right, we got Dean back now. A little technical difficulties, but Dean, I want to go into a different aspect. Obviously, Amanda coming off that win. I guess next in line for is Caitlin Vieira, and that's who she called out after the fact. So. How soon are you guys thinking that that's going to be a fight for her, or is she going to as you mentioned earlier, heal up that foot and wait it out for a little bit.
I'm thinking that she should probably heal up that foot and wait it out, but you just never know, man. Like, there's a lot of factors involved with making a fight happen. And, part of that is like, scheduling with other fighters and with Dana once, and then, people's health. So there are so many different factors. Sometimes they get pushed into taking fights sooner than they want. But it's just hard to say. I mean, I think Amanda might want to heal up that foot, and I'm sure she doesn't have a problem with taking more time off. But, I think a lot of it's going to have to do with what Dana says.
No, I was just going to ask, what do you think about that matchup in itself, her against Caitlin?
Well, I don't really know much about that girl, but from what I've, experienced, the little bit I've experienced of her, I mean, she seems pretty tough and pretty good, and and a formidable opponent. I don't know much, like I said, but I do have a lot of confidence in Amanda, and as long as Amanda's motivated to train and fight hard, I can't see any of those girls beating her.
Okay. Do y'all have to have the Cyborg fight in the near future? Or y'all gonna play a boxing style and kind of wait her out since y'all got the younger fighter?
I don't know why I find that so funny.
Because it's true. It's funny because it's true, right?
But that's really funny, actually. No, the thing is with MMA fighters, they don't really think of it that way. In boxing they go, yeah, let's wait a little bit till he gets old. Like MMA fighters never think that. Yeah. MMA fighters seems to never they feel like they never age. That's why you have so many fighters fighting way past their prime. But I don't think that was ever an issue for Amanda to go, let's wait this out because we're younger and maybe she'll get older faster than us. I don't think that was ever an issue. I think that she wanted that fight because there weren't other girls in the division. But I think now that you have some other girls in the division, I don't think Amanda is really looking as heavily into the fight with Cyborg. I know she's not afraid of her, but I just think that she wants to clean out her division first.
Do you think she had to beat Holly to do that? Because then she beat the other 3 champions. And she beat, undisputed, the best 135 women's bantamweight fighter of all time. And she does that, as you know. Do y'all need that fight?
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, but honestly, and nothing against Holly, but I almost kind of feel like fighting Holly would be a step backwards for her, because, and I don't want to say that to be disrespectful to Holly, but it's just Holly has, some losses that, I mean, like Amanda beat 2 of the girls that beat Holly, you know what I'm saying? So it just doesn't seem like it makes sense for her to have to fight Holly to achieve some certain status. I feel like she's already at that status.
I mean, that makes sense. I kind of agree with you there, because after Vieira, there's really not anybody that's kind of barking at or knocking on the title picture door there at 135. I mean, maybe if Jermaine ever comes back, who knows what?
That'd be a good fight.
I mean, it would be. I mean, they fought before. Amanda beat her before. But I mean, that was a long time ago. So I mean, I'm sure Amanda wouldn't be opposed to that. But but here's the thing, if Amanda has to fight anybody to solidify her position as the GOAT, it would have to only be Cyborg, and that's it. I don't think she would have to fight Holly. It's just Cyborg is the only girl she would have to beat.
Oh yeah, no, I was talking about a little 2 separate things. Definitely to be the GOAT of all time, but to be the best one, considered the best 135er ever. You think she had to be Holly?
Okay, yeah. You're right.
Because she don't want to beat all 3 champs.
Right, for sure. But I still think she can claim that title without even beating Holly. I feel as though.
Yeah. I mean, hey, it's a hard argument to say that she's not at this point. But I definitely think if she gets that Cyborg, yeah, it's unquestioned. To Kendra's point, yeah, I mean. I can definitely see your angle about it being a step down for Holly right now, but if Holly gets a big win over Megan Anderson, that kind of raises her stock again. But I would kind of think that Holly would maybe angle for another Cyborg fight if she gets that win, right?
Yeah, I mean she should. I mean now we're flirting with these divisions. It's almost like pick a division and rule it. You know what I'm saying? Just pick a division and rule it. And I like Holly a lot. I think she's a great fighter. I mean, she's an inspiration an inspirational type fighter. I think she inspires different people. I mean, she comes back after losses, and she handles it well. I think she's a great fighter, and I wish her the best. Honestly, I wish she could be the champion at 145 pounds. I just don't know if she's good enough.
Fair enough. Yeah, it's it's funny, man, because that we still don't have rankings for 145. So what's going to happen there is.
Well, how can you not rank 3 girls?
I mean, you could, why not just put 1, 2, and 3?
That's what I'm saying.
His face too.
It's like it's 3 of them. How can you not rank them?
I mean, yeah. You say no rankings available
my
for
man
this
got a serious face when he said that too. You're a trip, dude. He got a serious face.
It's true though. There's literally only two girls, and one of them goes back up and down, and another one is, I don't know what she's doing.
I've seen Jermaine since Brooklyn, bro.
Nope, nobody has. Nobody has. But Dean, man, besides the training and stuff, man, how's the comedy scene working out for you? What you got going on there?
It's good, man. I had a show last night. I did an improv show last night. Still working on my stand-up set. So I'm just trying to stay busy. But I do have a film coming out in a couple of weeks. We might release it. It's an independent film. Short film. We might release it next week, actually. It's called The Sandbox Memories. And I'm telling you, it's like you've never seen me before.
That's interesting.
It's different. Yeah, it's like you've never seen me before. I'm gonna put y'all on it. Y'all gotta help me promote this thing, though.
For sure.
So you're saying you go full on actor mode in this thing?
Yeah, I go full on actor mode in this.
Okay, all right. I'm interested. Do you have a comedy hour special in the works too, or have you looked at that yet? Or are you still?
My problem is I can't even come up with 5 minutes that I like. I had lunch with Jim Norton, last weekend, and I'm talking to him. I'm like, dude, like how? Because he was very critical about that too. Like guys hanging on to jokes for like 20 years. I'm like, I can't do a set 3 times and get sick of a joke. Like, how do you stay with the same jokes for so long? So like, I mean, if I put all my jokes together, I could probably do 15, 20 minutes. But I'm like, oh, that's not funny. How did I ever think that was even funny? So yeah, I'm never doing an hour. Trust me.
Yeah, it's tough, man. I mean, I saw your set in Vegas, and it was pretty funny. Like, I was impressed when I saw it. You had me rolling, so I think you're selling yourself short a little bit, but
I don't know. I gotta hit the scene again. I gotta hit the scene a little more though. That's something that I really appreciate doing.
When you come to Texas?
Texas?
Yeah.
Oh God. I don't know, man. Next time there's a fight in Texas.
Oh yeah, you can't bring your comedy scene to Texas?
I want to. Matthew, are you in Texas too?
Yeah, we both are. We're both in Texas, man. We're both in Plano.
Oh,
so just
Plano.
right outside of Dallas, like literally 10 minutes up the road from Dallas.
We stay 10 minutes from the start where the Cowboys practice at.
Yeah. Oh, do you?
Yeah.
So is that a Greg Hardy picture on the back? I see that.
Oh no!
There you go.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh, he had to go to the Greg Hardy thing. Oh my goodness. Oh man, I need to do another one, man. I got DeMarco Murray up there, Des Bryant. The one right behind Kendrick is Bo Jackson. I'm sure you see the Kaepernick one over there a little bit.
Yeah, I see that one.
Yeah, that's all my original artwork, man. So.
Oh really?
Yeah.
That's pretty badass. Yeah. So, but let me not fake the funk, man. Like I train Greg, and I believe everybody deserves a second chance. But we'll see what he's made of on the 12th. He's fighting in the Contender Series, so.
No, I agree with that second chance thing, man. But like, I guess you give us some more insight to him, man. Like, because I remember when he announced that he was gonna do it, or when that news broke, some people were like, "Oh, he doesn't even deserve to compete in our sport." Like that whole angle was going out there. I mean, what's he like training, man?
Well, coming from a football background and having coaches your entire life and being on a team your entire life, it showed. I mean, it was very clear from day one that he was going to be easy to coach, and he is. So, when I tell him to be down, because he lives in the gym. So when I say, hey, be downstairs at 10 o'clock, he's downstairs at 9:45 stretching out, and he's got all his stuff on. He's ready to go. And that's more than I can say about 90% of the other fighters that I work with, especially Brazilians, because if you tell them 10 o'clock, they think you're talking PM. You know what I'm saying? So like,
oh, wow.
Yeah. So, so he's very coachable. He's extremely powerful and athletic, and and that's it, man. I just, I'm hoping that he can make it. I'm hoping that he can do something for himself because I do believe that he deserves a second chance. I mean, he's been nothing but a gentleman to everybody in the gym, and he's taken his lickings like everybody else. Like he didn't come in with no pretense of being a prima donna or I used to be this guy. Like he came in with his tail tucked between his legs, and I've seen him get knocked around by guys, and he's in there training and getting beat up and fighting and giving it back, and he's one of the guys.
Can you help us get about the show, man? We all talk about showing some brothers some love.
What you thought? You want me to get him on the show?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll get him on the show.
Hey, that worked.
And switching keep my producer hat on. Me and Matt haven't talked about this. What y'all think about this fool Mike Perry talking about because he's 2% African? Can he say nigga?
I feel like that would be a Dean set. I really do. I really feel like that would be a part of your bit.
What do you think about this cat?
Well, Jesus Christ. So my buddy sent me that clip today, and he wanted me to spoof it and do a spoof video of it. And I said, man, I'm not touching that.
I knew it.
I'm not touching that. I can't touch that. But let me tell you, I've known Mike Perry since 2010.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2000. I've known him since 2009, 2010. When he first moved to Orlando and started training. I was his very first MMA coach. And Mike Perry grew up in the hood, man. He grew up around black people. You know what I'm saying? He grew up in the hood. He's a street kid. Mm-hmm. That doesn't make it, acceptable for him to do what he's doing. But I'm just saying, like, he's a street dude. So, and he's all right. Honestly, he's an all right guy, man. Like, he's not bad. I mean, he does what he does what he has to do. But, sometimes people just get on the internet and act a fool, man. You know how it is. Dudes just get on the internet and don't know how to act, man. They say dumb stuff sometimes.
That's where Kobe Covington. Your boy Kamaru would trick me out at the press conference up in Brooklyn. He said, "We live 20 minutes apart. I can see you when we get back to the neighborhood."
Yeah, but I don't know if I can touch that either because like Kobe's he's on our team. I don't know if I can't say nothing.
All right.
But all I will say is that I always wanted to see that fight between Colby and Usman. I've always wanted to see that fight.
Man, it's weird with me, man, because obviously, you see Colby a lot more than I do, obviously. But I remember the one time I interviewed Colby was when he fought Max Griffin at Media Day, and Colby was the nicest dude, one of the nicest dudes I talked to. But he did have that confidence edge, where he was like, I'm going to be the best guy in this division. I just need some time, was one of the quotes he gave me. And, he was nice, like, wasn't doing this whole chaos gimmick that he's doing now. And then you see him flip the switch. It's just like, whoa, where did this come from?
Yeah. Let me tell you how awkward it is, like this. Because, Kobe bashes my main man. Like, me and Tyrone be like brothers,
Yeah.
And Kobe bashes him so hard. And I run into Kobe all the time. And there's times when we're just like, I'll like turn the corner and he'll be standing right there and we'll be like 3 feet away from each other's face, staring at each other in the eyes. And then we'll just turn away from each other. I mean, it's so awkward. You know what I'm saying? Like, this sport.
So I guess my only question, I guess you just confirmed it right there. I was wondering if Colby ever had like a sit down with everybody at ATT and was like, "Hey, I'm about to do this crazy gimmick. Y'all don't take too much offense." So I guess that conversation never happened.
It never happened. I kind of wish it did. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wish it did because I could have helped him. You know what I'm saying? Like, if he came out and said, "Hey, I'm about to do this crazy gimmick," I'd be like, "Dude, I'll help you. I'll let you punch me in the face. I'll fall." You know what I'm saying? Like, we can make this work. I'm all a part of the show. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's wild, man. It's wild. It's been a trip, and the fact that it kind of like crossed the line for me was this week when the UFC guys got robbed at gunpoint, and he tweeted out, something along the lines in that gimmick saying, "Oh, don't worry, guys, I'm gonna take care of this," and at the United Center, whatever the tweet was. I was like, dude,
"Oh, really?"
I was like, "Dude, stop the gimmick for 5 minutes, please." Like, come on, man.
Yeah, it's a little too soon. You know what I'm saying? People got robbed at gunpoint, and he's still with his act.
Yeah,
Come on, man.
exactly.
You gotta tone it down a little bit, brother.
Hey, can you help us get the champ on, man? I got his phone number. When I see him in person, he showed me love. But he don't pick up the call for the show, though.
I know. Hey, man, listen, getting the champ is tough, man.
I was gonna say, I was gonna say ask you that off air, but I mean, I haven't heard a D's Nuts episode since January, so it must be tough for you too, even.
Yeah, it is. I'm not gonna lie. It's hard for me too, man. It's tough locking him down because he's got so much going on right now. Yeah, he's he's flying every week to LA to do his TMZ show, and he's working on his album. He's got an album coming out, a rap album.
Yeah, it's on the Breakfast Club out there.
Yeah, and he's traveling, doing all this other media stuff, and then not to mention he's got a family. You know what I'm saying? So he's pretty tough to lock down, but he wants to. We talked actually. I just got off the messenger with him and Duke. We're kind of going back and forth on a text, and Tyron's ready to fight. So we're hopefully putting together a camp pretty soon.
Very nice. Very
Gotcha.
nice.
So when he fights, do you go up to Milwaukee?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. It's a good welcome change for me too, man. To only have to worry about one guy, because when I'm here, right now I have my hands full. I got, Jessica Aguilar I'm training. I've got Jillian Robertson. We going to Liverpool next week, and Shoeface, and I got all these different fighters, Greg, and I got all these different fighters I'm working with. So to go to Milwaukee and only have to worry about Tyron is great. I love it.
So since you're going to Liverpool, what do you think will happen in that main event? We just got off the horn with Wonder Boy.
No, I like Wonder Boy in that fight, to be honest with you. And here's why. I think, again, like MMA fans have these knee-jerk reactions. People in general have knee-jerk reactions. For the same reason why everybody had the knee-jerk reaction towards Raquel, I think everybody is having this knee-jerk reaction towards Darren Till's ability. And I'm not saying he's not a good fighter. We just haven't really seen it yet. He beat up Donald Cerrone. But let's face it, Donald Cerrone he's a 155er, and he was on like a 3-fight losing streak when he got beat up by Darren Till. So let's face it, like Donald Cerrone was kind of a shell of himself at that point. I'm not saying Darren Till can't prove himself, but I just don't think he's done it yet the same way Wonder Boy has. Wonder Boy, let's look at Wonder Boy's resume. Wonder Boy beat up George Masvidal. Wonder Boy knocked out Robert Whittaker. Wonder Boy has beaten up a lot of people. I think Wonder Boy handles Darren Till.
That's what he just told us he was going to do.
Exactly. I agree with you, man. I think it'll be interesting for maybe a round and a half, and then after that, I think we'll see the experience and the skills start to shine once Till starts slowing down. But it's gonna be a good fight, man. Who's Jessica Aguilar fighting?
She's fighting Jody Escabel.
Okay, when is that fight going? Has that been announced?
Yeah, it's been announced. It's in New York.
It was been announced. I missed it. I missed that. So.
Nah, it's on that New York card. I don't even think anybody's ever even talking about that New York card in Utica.
Oh yeah. Bilal Muhammad's on that one. We've been trying to get him back on to talk about that fight. Okay.
He throwing curveballs. This dude.
I was just legit didn't know.
Hey, did you give some insight behind the scenes? We recently had a fighter that was basically talked to us like you talking now. Told us about his fight before the other opponent had signed, and he freaked out behind the scenes. Why is that such a bad thing?
Hold on, now what happened? I missed half of that.
Here's what happened. So we did an interview with someone recently, and the fight was not officially announced. It was just broken on Twitter. You know how that happens all the time.
Right.
The targeted matchups, tweets that get out there, but it wasn't officially announced. And he did an interview talking about it, and then, of course, he wanted us to wait before putting the interview out because it turns out he didn't even officially sign the fight yet, and it wasn't officially announced. So I guess there is something, with the contracts and stuff, they're not supposed to talk about their upcoming opponents, right?
Right.
Yeah. So that's.
Yeah. Like, if it's not signed and the UFC doesn't announce it, then you can't say nothing.
You can hypothetically speak about it, but he was talking about it in absolutes, right? So
yeah, you can't do that. I mean, you don't want to break the news when the UFC is trying to break the news. I mean, Dana White's really big about that, man. Like, and Dana White's got his hands in everything that the UFC does. So like, whenever you see something, Dana White has his hands in it, and he knows about it. So like, if a fighter breaks some news that they're not supposed to, he's gonna know about it, and it kind of ruins the way they market stuff. So. They don't want fighters doing that, and I see why too. It's like you don't want to pull the curtain back too early. You got to let the machine do it.
For sure, I get it. It was just kind of wild because we were told Sean Shelby heard about it. I was like, I didn't know Sean Shelby watched the show, but hey, I appreciate it.
Yeah, right. Hopefully, right. So I mean, is this like this show here? Is this? Because it seems like you guys are so UFC centric. Is this for the UFC at some level?
No, I mean we try to get whoever we can to come on, man. It's just
we talk boxing too. We talked about Lomachenko. I know you saw that body shot.
Yeah, I saw some of the fight, man. Lomachenko is great, man. Like he evades punches beautifully, except for that one, but he evades punches so beautifully.
He went right up into that one.
But yeah, man, we had boxers on. We had Abner Mares and Luis Garcia and his trainer on 2 episodes ago. So we'll have boxers. We'll have other fighters on as well from other promotions if we can get them. It's just we talk to whoever we can, trainers as well. So. Yeah.
I'm just checking, man. Like, cause I'm upset, man. I was driving today, and then real talk, man. I'm driving today, and I thought about King Mo yesterday, and it just like really upset me for some reason. Like I've never really like been upset about a guy losing a fight before, and like I was upset that King Mo got knocked out in 15 seconds. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I mean it kind of bothered me. You know what I'm saying? Because King Mo is my homeboy, and to see that happen to him was just it sucked.
Yeah, I actually wanted to get in touch with King Mo, man. I wanted to get him on. I still want to get him on because he's one of the best characters. Not saying that he's doing anything out of, like he's being him 100%, but just his personality. Yeah. His personality is one of the most interesting ones in this game, I think. So.
Well, I can get him for you too, man. King Mo's he's a homie and he's not afraid to talk. In fact, he loves to talk. So he'll come on and shine some light.
So we got to catch up. We got to catch up on a personal level off air, Dean, so we can compare notes and stuff. Are you gonna be? I'm gonna be at Fight Week, International Fight Week. Will you be in Vegas that week?
Probably. Like I don't have plans on it now, but I can't see why I wouldn't be at some level. I don't know who I'm working with for the fights, but I'm pretty sure I'll be out there at some level.
Will you be recognizable? I reckon, and of course I know who Dean is. I'm like, who's this old brother with this old goatee walking up on me like he'll do something up in Brooklyn?
I shaved that off, man. Like, you see me now, man. I got to get rid of that because I aged 20 years with that thing.
Yeah, man. Yeah. We'll see. I'm definitely going to try to get out there for International Fight Week, so Kendrick will be out there for sure, man. But, we'll catch up with you soon. Dean, thanks for coming on, man. Great stuff as always. Love having you on the show. You always give us some great insight. Can't wait to see what Amanda Nunes does next, man. So
yeah, man, I appreciate y'all having me on and letting me speak my piece. I'm sure it's probably not the most popular opinion, and I'm sure most people won't see it the way I see it. But I'm not going to change my opinion on it just because most people feel like, we got to protect the fighters, the corners got to protect the. Yeah, I get that because that's my job. That's what I do. But I also work with more fighters than most people know. Like that's my job is to work with fighters, and I know how to read fighters, and I know how to analyze body language of fighters, and I know what they need and what they want more often. So I'm not going to change my opinion on how I feel about what happened with Raquel Pennington. I think she's a great fighter, and I think she deserves better. So
absolutely.
Tell Nina let her girl come on, man. I can't catch him.
Who, Tisha?
No, Nina. I can get Raquel. Raquel texted me just like an hour ago while we've been doing the show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but Amanda, like, she's always nice. She talks to me. She goes, tell Nina, and I'll come on. And Nina doesn't pick up.
Yeah, man, if you knew them, they're such good people.
I'm not saying nothing bad. I'm trying to get on the show.
I know,
I'm not
all they do is hang out, man. They just, like, they don't like being on the phone. All they want to do is hang out and drink beer and play pool and let the dogs run around and just that's all it is, hang out and have a good time. So like that's why they don't like to work, man. And like this is work for them. Talking to you guys is work. They don't want to work.
Hey,
let them know that we cool. We on their team.
I get it.
Yeah, so like if you ever in the area, hopefully you get to hang out with them and just bring a little camera and film it, or some audio recording equipment to record it, because that's the easiest way to get it. Because like when it comes to like doing interviews and working, they do not want to work, man. They just want to hang out and have a good time.
Yeah, sure.
I know we will work.
Hey, I get that angle for sure, man. I've seen it firsthand, man. Some fighters they just get super nervous in front of the cameras or in front of the microphones whenever they're on. It's just one of those things. But yeah, man, we'll get some more producing notes going on in the green room, I guess, with you, man. And thanks for coming on the show.
No doubt, man.
Look to talk to you on air again soon.
All right, fellas, y'all take it easy, man. I'll
hit
catch
you
up
up this week and catch up, Dean.